The CAJ CNW Group Student Award of Excellence recognizes exemplary journalism produced by those who are completing an accredited journalism diploma or degree program at a Canadian post-secondary school. Entries can include work published as part of program requirements or anything produced by the student or students that was first published or broadcast by any Canadian media outlet. There are 4 finalists in this category. Adam Marsh of Camosun College in BC submitted The Educated Homeless, published by the campus newspaper, The Nexus. In a community with a tight vacancy rate, Marsh found sources displaying the range of how college students deal with a dearth of housing, from commuting for hours a day to working 90 hours a week and living out of a backpack. Then he went to college and government sources to ask what was being done to improve the quantity and quality of housing in the Camosun area so that many students wouldn't have to fret about what was over their heads while continuing their studies. From Mount Royal University in Calgary, Not a Magic Pill by Justina Deerdoff, Hannah Davis, and Catherine Hutema, published online and in the Calgary Journal. This trio set out to tell stories about how antidepressants are not a cure-all, not a magic pill for those who take them as part of a treatment regimen for mental illness. The package broke down the science behind some mental illnesses, explained how these medications help people deal with the symptoms of these illnesses, and included professional sources that added credibility to the students' own research.
The story that comes to mind is this gentleman that became our client, and it was probably the worst case of depression I've ever experienced in my career working in the mental health field. And he was so depressed that he was literally paralyzed by his depression. He would not leave his bed. He stopped showering and eating because he was too depressed to even move his body. That is a very extreme case of depression, but that is something that I always think back when I work with our clients, because when he started taking medication, including antidepressant, once again, the quality of life or the change in quality of life that he experienced is really hard to put in words.
From Nova Scotia Community College's media program, the team entry Untitled, The Legacy of Land in North Preston. A project spanning 2 academic years sees students tackle the absence of any official record of land title in the community of North Preston, just outside of Halifax. As African Canadian settlers arrived in Nova Scotia in the 19th century and were sent to North Preston to live and build their homesteads, these individuals were never given title to their lands under which they toiled. Over 100 years later, that lack of official title means too many families are living atop land they don't own, can't deed to their families, and have difficulty building on and selling. Even more frustrating, promises to fix this problem and provide clear title to these lands have been made and ignored or not made a priority.
I know that the children won't have anything. If anything should happen to me or their father, if they won't have nothing, if they ain't got the land.
The 4th finalist in this category is also based in Nova Scotia. Alexander Kwan's entry from the University of King's College in Halifax, published online in The Signal, titled Lyndall Smith, inside the story of how he took Halifax Peninsula north in a landslide. Rather than hop onto the bandwagon after Smith's victory and inauguration as a Halifax Regional Municipality Council member, Kwan was with the candidate from the period shortly after his nomination. This dedication allowed him to tell a complete story of how Smith's campaign got underway, capitalized on its momentum, and led to the election of the first African Nova Scotian to municipal office since the creation through the amalgamation of the HRM. Kwan quotes Smith as saying, "I hope that I'll make a difference. People think that politicians are all bad people, but a politician isn't a bad person. Sometimes politicians just become bad because they forgot who they started running for."